Oh, okay. Hello. Hello. Thank you for joining me right now if you're watching live or later. Now, look how red my nose is right now. It's red. There's a bit of a spot forming on the end of it. And I just want to make a quick point about that. So this has happened to me a couple of times. And the last time it happened was I was eating a lot of nutritional yeast. And the way that I get with food is that I tend to find something that I like and I eat it and 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 eat it compulsively. And so that's what I was like with cooked food and stuff like that. And that's, I guess, what I'm like with all diets, really. But it's something you can't really do with fruit. So, but you can't really do it with bananas or whatever. You just don't get that same addiction, right? So I would have, in the past, I would have a lot of nutritional yeast and I had it every single day and I would absolutely cover salads in it, right? So I was doing that for a while. And after a while, my nose was going red like this. And to me, that was a sign of like, okay, this is the first sign of my body saying like, this is too much. So I gave that up because I can't really limit myself to things. I have to pretty much give them up. And I'm humble enough to admit that, whereas a lot of people think they're more in control of their diet than they really are. So the thing that I've been eating a lot of is tomatoes. This isn't the thing that I just want to talk about, by the way. I'm just kind of explaining that. Thanks for watching. If you're watching, feel free to add a comment or whatever. Just wanted to explain my appearance. But I've been eating a lot of tomatoes, and I mean like a lot of tomatoes every single day for quite a long time. And it started off in salad dressings, just a small amount. And it's got to a point where I'm having like, I could have a box of like plum tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. So I'm gonna cut that out for a while, I think. I don't know how I'm gonna live without them. I do love tomatoes, but they are different than other fruits, definitely, in the way that I experience eating them and how I feel about eating them and the way that I eat them. So I mean, if you're I'm not trying to scare anyone away from eating tomato. I'm talking about eating a lot over a long period of time. And I've had symptoms before of things from eating a lot of tomatoes. So it's just something that I need to kind of control a little bit. But anyway, point of this little video is really about, I put the phrase know-it-alls. But the idea is really that a lot of gurus and raw food kind of teachers, they're given a lot of information outside of their own area of expertise. And it's okay to give opinions on things and everyone can share information. But when I was getting into this movement, I would go and listen to different teachers at events and festivals and just on their YouTube channels or whatever. And I would really be open to their ideas and thinking that they had the right ideas on a lot of things, especially because to me, they'd found this incredible diet. They'd found this way of living. And I thought, well, if they've found this, I guess maybe they've got the scoop on everything else, you know? And what I've really found in the raw vegan movement is that there's a lot of opinions and ideas that float out around there that are passed on by teachers and leaders in this movement that I don't think are right, but I'm also not qualified to say if they're right or not. And I question if they are, because they're going outside really of their own sort of area of expertise. And had some conversations with people about different things. Like I've started to develop stronger opinions on certain things. Not really opinions, actually, not really opinions. I've actually taken away what I'm actually doing is taking away the idea that I can actually generate a valid opinion on things that I'm not qualified to generate an opinion on. So vaccination, for example, is a big thing. Vaccination, there's a lot of anti-vax people. There's a lot of stuff in the press about vaccination, anti-vax videos being taken off of YouTube. And it all helps to build this idea of it as a conspiracy thing. And it's a hot topic in the health movement. And it kind of always has been. You can go back to Herbert Shelton. You can listen to some of his lectures, and he's talking about vaccines in some of those lectures. That's going back to the 50s, 60s, so and probably further back. And Shelton wasn't the first, but it was the first in a long line of a particular type of speech delivered in order to influence an audience in a particular direction, which was basically to try and generate mistrust in the medical system or medical community. And that's still what some raw food or natural, call it natural health movement, or alternative health movement if you want. But the difference with the raw food thing is that we're actually saying that changing your diet is the answer, not supplements and therapies. So it's a bit different from the alternative health crowd. But it's definitely alternative to what medical information is suggesting. But your doctor isn't the person to go to speak about diet, and they would say that as well. They would want to tell you how to eat, and they don't really know how to eat either. They don't know what. I think in that What the Health film, the doctor says, "I don't know. I can't tell you what a good diet is," or something like that. And he said, "I can tell you what a bad diet is, but I can't tell you what a good diet is," which is really interesting, right? So he's basically saying, I don't know. That's not my area of expertise, right? So vaccination. Then we've got farming, the area of farming, of actually growing food and making food and things like that. So there's that area that a lot of raw vegan people like to have ideas about. And then there's maybe just things like anything medical. Anything medical, they tend to be having some opinion on a lot of these things, and dental as well as the other one. So I give a lot of opinions on dental stuff, but my opinions are just the mainstream advice, and I think refined towards for raw vegan people of that interest. If you look at vaccination, this is a topic that's like incredibly complex to understand. This is a very high level of chemistry, immunology, all this kind of information. It takes years to understand that fully. So if you were to go and research vaccination, whether this is right for you or not, the amount of study and research you have to do is going to be pretty substantial. And whether you've got the time to do that is really questionable. For some people, whether you have the intelligence in the first place to do that research is debatable to some degree, because not everyone can become a doctor or whatever, or a researcher, or has that reading ability, right? My brother is a doctor and he did a PhD. My other brother is a mathematician and did a PhD. And I've seen the PhD thesis and their stuff. And I look at it and I'm like, you can't get past the first page. You can't get past the first paragraph. It just becomes incomprehensible to the average person. And I wouldn't necessarily say I'm the average person, because I've got like a degree level reading ability, I suppose. But it's so it gets so complex. It's so specific. The language used, the terms used, the way that words are used is not the normal way. They've had to get that. They've had to learn that. That's years of study to understand the field, to understand how to communicate within that field in order to communicate with the other people appropriately who understand this information at that level. It's just like us in the raw vegan community. We use words like mono meals, like no one else knows what that means, but we know what it means. So it's a whole new vocabulary. And the idea that you can start going out and researching that yourself and working it all out is not a good idea. And it's worthwhile being humble enough to accept that. So therefore, do you just go and trust anyone? Well, I guess no, that's not the point. But if you decide you're going to go out and find the answer yourself, you're going to be vulnerable to lots of bad information. Bad information that you accept because you want it to be true, because it fits in line with what you think, because it's got a nice, simple idea to it. And unfortunately, people are buying these really conspiracy theory ideas. Vaccinations, blah, 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 big pharma, big corporations. Corporations are bad. So if you already think corporations are bad, if you think the government is bad, if you think big pharma is bad and all these things, you're going to love hearing that information. You know, if you want there to be someone that you can blame for your child's autism or whatever else, then that's going to ring true to you, even if it's not true. But the only way you're going to know if it's true is if you can actually become qualified enough to do the research to look at all the information. Or alternatively, you can trust the sources in place that are there to make those decisions for us. And in the raw vegan community, there's a lot of mistrust of these mainstream bodies because we believe their information about diet is not correct. In reality, their information about diet isn't that much different to what we're saying. We just assume that they're telling people to eat junk food. They're not. You know, they're not telling people to eat that. But yes, is their information modified for the public or because of varying different interests? Maybe it is to a degree, but it doesn't mean that all of their information is bad like that. So I've not got an opinion to give you on vaccination other than I'm in no position to question the authorities on this matter. And I would suggest that a lot of people that you might listen to aren't in that position either. I would strongly suggest that. And that's what I mean by know-it-alls who just think they know everything about everything because they've looked at YouTube videos and stuff like that. So that's one thing. And then when it comes to farming, like this is another problem. It might not seem as complex an issue, but it's another thing in which people, like a guy was speaking to me the other day. He was asking me about the festival I run and is it organic and stuff. And his whole idea of organic is based on conversations he's had with his local organic farmer. That's it. But he's been completely convinced that that is all there is to it. You know, oh, it's so hard for these farmers to make money. It's so hard for these organic farmers to make money. It's like it's hard for farmers to make money in general. It's hard to make money. Like it's hard to have a farm. It's hard. But that's just part of it. It's not really hard. It's just like it's part of it. He's bought into this whole idea and all the stuff that the guys told him about pesticides and everything, which isn't the full story, right? And I choose to believe that the food in the supermarket is safe. It's a waste of my time to start going to research and trying to find out if it's not. Because how am I doing a better job than them? And then the other thing is people saying, I can tell the difference. I can taste the difference. You want to taste the difference. You want to taste the difference. You want to believe that you can make that judgment. And you can't. You just can't, because you don't know if any of the conventional food that you're eating has been sprayed or not. You don't know if the organic food has been sprayed or not. But this is another area where people have this weakness where they like to believe they know better. And it just comes down to a basic fear idea of chemicals are bad, nature is good. Like you're trying to make binary things out of really complex issues. Medical things being bad in general, like don't take any medical stuff, antibiotics, all these things are bad. This is bad information given by unqualified people, you know, and you shouldn't be going to anyone. If you're looking for medical advice, you shouldn't be going to non-qualified people for. If you're looking for medical advice, like, I think I'm low in this nutrient or whatever, I think I'm not feeling good, we'll go to a doctor and find out. A lot of these ex-vegans and so on were going to naturopaths, and they were looking for the natural doctor that would tell them something they wanted to hear, rather than going to the doctor who says, you've got nothing wrong with you, maybe rest for a while, which is what people don't want to hear. They want to find out that there's something really wrong with them, you know, or that they had to take antibiotics and they didn't want to do that because it's not natural or it doesn't fit in and whatever. This is a poor choice. It's a poor health choice. You need to understand that if you have a condition in which the diet is thing causing it, then yes. Then yeah, changing your diet is the thing. But if your condition is not caused by your diet, or not completely caused by your diet, then there's other factors that need to be changed as well. And if the medical system has an answer to that, then that's all fine. I don't like a lot of the things the pharmaceutical industry does. All the basically heroin that people are on, all the morphine and stuff, or whatever it's called, OxyContin, and like, it's not good that people are getting all these, basically addicted to all these painkillers and stuff. That's really bad, but that's another thing. And partly that's the demand of what the customer wants, in a sense. That's what the patient is asking for or needing, or what they're willing to do, or whatever. And then in dental, everyone's got an opinion on dental, and don't have this toothpaste, have that toothpaste. And the dental community is pretty firm on fluoride being a good thing, but everyone wants to have an opinion on it, like as if you've ever read any dental textbook, you know, as if you've went through the training to understand that, as if you've looked in thousands of mouths and seen the effects of tooth decay on thousands of people and understood it and seen the patterns of it. But you're wanting to say that you're right and the dental community is wrong. Like, too many know-it-alls. I just say, stick to what you know. If you think the diet is the right thing, stick to that. Like, why are you trying to tell people about everything else? You know, why are you trying to give all this advice on stuff that is beyond your qualification? You know, so I don't like that. And it's all based on a premise of, like, nature is better. You know, something really simple, like nature is better, Mother Nature is better, or whatever, you know. And that's not true. Mother Nature is not always better than man-made. It's just not the case. So that's my thoughts on raw vegan know-it-alls. Thank you for watching the video. Thanks for watching me live. If you're there, if you've got any questions, you can ask a question. If any of you are interested in the Fruit Festival, I'm doing a webinar in 1.5 hours. You can go to fruitfest.co.uk/webinar to register for that. We have I think we've got about 40 people registered already. Something like that. And we'll cover, but that's just for people who are interested in learning about the festival. That's not going to be about random stuff, you know. Not random stuff. It's not going to be about, it's not just an educational thing about the raw vegan diet in general. So, okay, we've got 41 people signed up for it. So, thank you for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you've got any questions, feel free to add your questions. And I'll see you in another video. Thank you. Let's stop this. How do I stop this? Here we go.